Pat and Aaron Show on WDAE.
Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. It's this weird thing happening now, Pat, as a Knicks fan, and it's changed in a year. A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I would just expect bad basketball. If the Knicks won a game, I felt good. I was happy. Now, because of last year and the way things have turned around
did you
for
put
this
$100
Knicks team,
on him last
I did
night?
not.
Like you told me you were gonna?
I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't.
I saw the score, and I was like, oh, I told Heidi, I was like, Aaron said he's putting $100 on him.
I did not. I did lose a little bit, but not a hundo. And I felt good going into that game last night for the Knicks, and I expect them to win. I get sad when they lose. I'm disappointed when they lose. Now that Julius Randle has taken over as a leader there, he hasn't been great as far as shooting early on, but R.J. Barrett, the guy who went number 3 overall in the Zion Williamson draft, Ja Morant went number 2, and then you had R.J. Barrett. And R.J., not a great night yesterday. He was okay. 23 points, 8 of 20 shooting, coming off recently having that great night, especially from beyond the arc.
Yeah, 8 of 20 is not very good.
But and Julius Randle's not putting up the numbers we were seeing from last year, and it's not even the points. It's the field goal percentage, 6 of 16 last night. That's become far too normal for Julius Randle, a guy who showed last year that he's not normal. He's better. He's better than average. He's very good at Julius Randle. So R.J. Barrett playing well for the Knicks. Somebody that I think we looked at and said it's going to take time. Coming into this league at such a young age, into the NBA, where these are grown men. You're coming from college as a freshman, and now you're joining grown men to play in the NBA. It took some time, and RJ's starting to show that he's becoming a good basketball player. But the number 1 overall pick, and Pat, before the draft, even though if Zion Williamson is in the draft, you take him at number 1. Doesn't matter. Any concerns that you have about the guy. And it was never really the guy, the person. Zion seems like a great person. But looking at his body type, and we joked about it for a while leading up to the draft. And even though I made some jokes, I was serious. Like, Zion Williamson's body type does not fit the typical coming out of college 19, 20-year-old. And
gloat. Go ahead, gloat.
No, it's not even gloating.
By the way, neither did Shaq's. Neither did Shaq's body. And Shaq got fat, but it took a while.
And it's funny you mentioned Shaq, because Shaq and Charles Barkley were talking about Zion Williamson, and if you missed it, you can see it on our blog. It's at patandaaron.com. And Charles Barkley said that if Shaq and Chuck had a baby, it would look like Zion Williamson.
That's actually pretty funny.
And he's not wrong. Zion, his body type has always been so large that you've got to control it. You got to really focus on your eating, and you got to focus on your body. Your athleticism's there, but you're a specimen to which we've never really seen before. Like LeBron James' physical specimen didn't make sense. He could leap in the air the way with such athleticism and ease that he did. Zion early on at 19 looked like that, but we hear how much.
I don't think he looked like LeBron.
He had the body
type.
Very
different body type.
He had the body type where the way he moved athletically, it didn't make sense that he had that type of body.
But LeBron never looked like Zion Williamson. And he's never had those kind of shoulders.
To your point, Pat, even more so for Zion. You have to work on your body then. And we heard
he's already had how many foot injuries?
Yeah, he had. They
ain't going to get better if he's fat.
Injuries in college too. And Pat, LeBron James spends a lot of money
blowing up sneakers.
LeBron James spends a lot of money. I remember that. Played right out of his shoes. Where LeBron James spends millions of dollars to take care of his body, right? You start to get older, you have to take care of your body.
I do as well. I don't know if you can tell.
You do not. But Zion Williamson has to get serious about really addressing his weight and keeping an eye on his body moving forward here, because he's 21 years old. He's ballooned over 300 pounds. He's dealing with a foot issue. So you're dealing with a foot injury with that much weight on you. It's going to hurt your knees. It's going to be harder to come back, right? I've mentioned on this show, I just started seeing a trainer recently. Now I'm starting to feel like I used to a little bit, where I'm ready to work out every day and my body is ready for it. Whereas when I first started, I was not. I was out of shape, and that's me, someone who's not a professional athlete.
Zion Williamson, I would imagine, like, the kid's a basketball player. It's not like he's not exercising.
I don't know what he's doing right now. It doesn't look like he's in shape.
Everybody has a different metabolism, dude.
Do you think
there are people that exercise and they don't lose weight? There are people that exercise and gain weight.
Do you think if the New Orleans Pelicans could go back now and redo that draft, do you think that they would take Zion Williamson number 1 overall still? Or would they go with
it's
Ja
hard
Morant?
It's hard to imagine how you would, right? Like, there's, again, given his weight, given what we've seen already, it's hard to imagine how he stays healthy moving forward unless he does something drastic. And to say, I need a kid a couple years into his career to do something drastic so he can stay on the floor, yeah, probably not going to draft that kid first overall.
Ja Morant's having a more successful career to this point and has played in way more games. Same with R.J. Barrett. R.J. Barrett, you can make the argument, is having a more successful career to this point than Zion Williamson. Yeah, the points per game are there for Zion, but you got to be on the floor to be productive for your team. And I joked about it for years, and I'll tell you I'm right because I was. Zion Williamson's body is not ready for the NBA, and if he doesn't get it under control, he won't have the career that a lot of people thought he was going to have.
Of the things I like. This list is a list of the things I like.
Things I like on the Pat and Aaron Show. Pat Donovan is out today. I'm riding solo for now. Nick Wise will be in and out throughout the show. NBA back in action tonight. You got Brooklyn at Milwaukee. Brought that up in Not Pick to Click. And then later, 10 o'clock, Golden State at Los Angeles. We'll see what that old L.A. Lakers team, LeBron James, Rajon Rondo, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, that is an ancient all-star team we're looking at there. I just saw this, and I'm excited for the Knicks tomorrow night, taking on the Celtics. Have you been keeping up, Derek? I know you're a basketball fan, with the Ben Simmons saga in Philly. It was a question mark whether or not Ben Simmons would even show up this season. He didn't want to play for the team. He requested a trade. They didn't find a trade for him. I mean, his value is at an all-time low after the way he played at the end of last season in the playoffs. But they're getting ready to start their season. Their first game is tomorrow at New Orleans. And I just saw this breaking news on NBA, or on ESPN. Might as well just call it NBA TV. It's Ben Simmons suspended for one game after Coach Doc Rivers throws him out of practice.
And they called it detrimental conduct. That's what it's under.
Yeah, Rivers said he thought that Simmons was a distraction today. That's not a good look. Ben Simmons, after everything he put Philly through, and this offseason, and now right before the first game of the season, Doc Rivers suspending him, and he's going to miss that game, that season opener against the Pelicans. I don't see Ben Simmons making it through the season here with the Philadelphia 76ers. Also, what I liked from this weekend, went to New York, had a great time at my friend's wedding. We were in Brooklyn, and I had the best time, despite New York being pretty much shut down still. But it was good to get away, good to see my friends and get out in the city. And I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but I don't care. I haven't been told not to. John Mamola's not here right now. I heard him mention last week while I was out with taking care of my traffic ticket that he told Pat Donovan it's not official yet. I've seen it's official now. I've gotten my tickets, my plane tickets. So looks like Army-Navy game is back on. And usually it's in Philadelphia. This year, it's going to be in New York, so I kind of got a little preview, told my friends I won't be away for too long. I'll be back early December. So Pat and I will be doing that coming up here in December, and every year it's really great. I mean, the USA puts on such a fantastic event leading up to the actual game itself, and once you get to the game, I'm telling you, I know how lucky and blessed I am to have the opportunity. I know Pat feels the same way, to be able to go up there and cover the game for our job, even though it doesn't feel like we're doing a job. But if you can make it to that game at some point in your life, it is so special. Everything surrounding the game that comes with the game, and how much you learn about our armed forces. It really is. It's an important game, and I'm so excited to be going back this year. Last night, Monday Night Football, Derrick Henry. What a beast. Fantasy owners, you know you're happy with Derrick Henry after last night. 3 touchdowns, 143 rushing yards. Are the Titans back? Football's so weird. You know, you look at a Tennessee Titans team who can look so bad against the New York Jets and lose to them, and then come back in what was just a tremendous game last night against the Buffalo Bills, who many believe are, especially the way Kansas City's looked, a lot of people believe Buffalo and Baltimore sending right now at the right time. Baltimore, Buffalo, best teams in the AFC. Baltimore lost to Tennessee. I can't tell. So much parity. And that's why you look at, the Bucs win on Thursday night, and I wasn't here to talk about it after, but they're getting it done against their schedule. Do they have the toughest schedule to start the season? No, they do not. But I like the way they are playing and things I like. I like that offense and what Tom Brady's able to do at his age to lead the league in passing yards at this point in the season, over 2,000 yards passing up to this point in the season. It's really incredible. And my not pick to click Wednesday night, a day ahead of time for last week, Leonard Fournette. And he had himself a game. So it's just a really weird league when you look and you see a team like the Tennessee Titans. They can look so bad, but they can look so good. The defense can look poor. Kansas City came to life in the second half. They're not a good team to me. They're having a lot of issues on defense, and we'll get to it in a little bit here, but one of the reasons I'm so impressed with Tom Brady, at his age, the league still hasn't figured him out. And the league hasn't figured out Pat Mahomes yet, but they're doing a better job early on in the season than they have in years past. That interception number for Patrick Mahomes, that's not something we all thought we would see at this point in the season. Look at last night, Josh Allen getting stuffed by the Tennessee Titans. Not saying Josh Allen's been figured out. Clearly, Buffalo's a good team, but you know what he's going to do on that fourth down play. You know what you have to do and clog the middle, get some pressure. You know what's going to happen. So I just I see a lot of parity in this league. And as a part of things I like, I can tell you I like where the Bucs are at. Facing injuries, they're going to have to come back from those. You want to get your guys back, the Levante Davids. You want to get Gronk back, even though this offense is great. Antoine Winfield. You're going to see a Buccaneers team that should have an easy time against these next couple of weeks, the schedule the next couple of weeks. I mean, we're talking about the Bears. Still don't know who the Saints are. Washington's look terrible. The Giants, awful against the Rams. Colts have been up and down. Falcons, and then you got the Bills, which is your tough game. But you've got a lot of time in between then, from now and then, that Bills game, where you've got a pretty light schedule. And I think that if you can get your guys healthy, get back to, you're never going to be at full strength, right? We watch football season. You're never going to be at full strength at this point in the season or anywhere through the season. But you want to get as many of your guys back and get back to as close to full strength as you can be towards the end of the season. We talked about it in hockey. To get Nikita Kucherov, and we know he got banged up again in the playoffs, but to get him back after being fresh or missing an entire season, when you have that much talent in a guy like Nikita Kucherov, it doesn't take you much to get you back into the game. And we see the same with a lot of guys on this Buccaneers team. I mean, you saw Gronk take years off and come back, and he's gotten better, right? It started a little slow for him, but now he's at a point before the injury where he was playing unbelievably to start this season. So really like that Bucs win on Thursday. Pete Rose joining us. Make sure to check him out. He'll be at Ruth Eckerd Hall March 21st, 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now, rutheckerthall.com. Pete, with Twitter and social media the way it is now, I imagine some of the stories that we're going to hear, maybe you can give us a little glimpse. Some things, now that happen, we're going to find out about it on Twitter, social media with baseball players. Now,
we'll have a lot of fun that night because you got the right guys for an audience. That's Boa and McCarver.
Yeah.
Boone's very outspoken. Wazinski don't say a damn word. You know what? A guy just texted me about 2 hours ago, and I think this is kind of ironic that 58 years ago today, I played in my first big league spring training game ever, and I got 2 for 2 against the White Sox. 58 years ago, I broke into the big leagues, of course, training in Tampa, Florida, and I think we went to Sarasota and played the White Sox, and I got 2 for 2 in that game.
Do you remember when you were playing spring training, Sarasota, in this area? Do you remember any of the radio guys? I know a lot of the guys speak about you and tell some of the stories, the Jack Harris's, the Ted Webbs of the world. I'm not sure how much you remember or were connected to the guys here.
No, the only guy I remember when we used to go to Sarasota was Harry Carey.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's an easy one to remember for
the
sure.
White Sox games, and I used to remember because every year they'd say, "Well, it's 76 here at McKechnie Field, but it's 26 in downtown Chicago." At every game I played down there against the White Sox, but those were the good days. Then 1961. I played for the Tampa Tarpons, which was the Reds' D team, and we won the Florida State League championship. And the owner of the team, listen to this, he gave us all a Zippo lighter. That was our gift. and now one of us smoked.
Oh, that's amazing.
Zippo lighter, and that was our grant for winning the World Series as a Florida State League. And of course, my manager on that team was from Tampa, and he pitched for the Reds, and his name was Johnny Double No Hit Vandermeer. That was my manager of that Tampa team in '61. He pitched back-to-back no-hitters for the Cincinnati Reds, I believe, in 1939.
And, I look back and I see, Boa did it as far as player manager. You did it, of course, Pete, player manager. Do you think that could happen today? You think player managers could actually work today in baseball?
No. And I'll tell you why. Because there's three things you have to do as a player manager, okay? You have to keep your skills honed. You got to be able to take batting practice and everything else that goes with being a player. You got to be able to handle the stress, okay? And you got to be able to handle your players. You just run out of time. I mean, I couldn't ask players, coaches to come out at 2:30 to throw me extra batting practice because once the press got there, you were talking to them until game time, until you went in to get ready for the game. And there's just too much to do for a manager. You couldn't keep practicing, and you can handle the players, you can handle the press, but how about your own skills? I mean, you got to get your skill level to the point to where you can play baseball at the big league level on an everyday basis, and that just doesn't. You don't have enough time to do that.
Your career spanning over multiple decades, you've done so much, such a passionate guy, such a competitor that we all know, and really you understand, it seems like, the tie, the community, the fan base, and how important that is, and clearly we see that with a 40th/41st celebration of this team. What do you think, Pete, the Rays wanting to spend half their season in Tampa Bay, the other half in Montreal, the back half in Montreal, what do you think of that concept?
I wouldn't like that if I was a player. Because you have families, and you have families where kids are going to school, and in a lot of cases, that's going to break up the family. That's why I was so fortunate for my first 19 years or whatever it was. I played in my hometown. I was born 3 miles from where we played baseball in downtown Cincinnati. Now, when you go to Philadelphia, everything changes. I wouldn't want to play half the season there and half the season down there. I would try to figure out a way to get more people to come to the ballpark in Tampa. I would build a new stadium over in Tampa because the Tampa Bay Rays, they have to play in St. Petersburg.
RuthEckerdHall.com. That's where you can get tickets to see Pete Rose and that 1980 Phillies championship team. Before we let you go, Pete, who do you think gets into the Hall of Fame first, Pete Rose or a known admitted steroid user?
That's a good question. That's one question I never heard before. Probably the steroid user.
Wow.
What do you think? What do you think of that?
Well, I'll probably make the Hall of Fame, but I'll be dead. Okay, so I don't go to bed at night worrying about going to the Hall of Fame. If I'm ever bestowed that honor, I'll be the happiest guy in the world. Okay? But I'm not going to use your program or every other program to bitch about not being in the Hall of Fame because I'm the one that screwed up. I'm the one that screwed that up. Okay? But there again, if you talk about a Hall of Fame, Roger Clemens has got to be in the Hall of Fame. The guy won 7 Cy Youngs.
Yep.
Okay? Alex Rodriguez has got to be in the Hall of Fame. The guy had over 2,000 RBIs and 2,000 runs scored and 695 home runs.
This is AM Tampa Bay on News Radio WFLA.
Wrapping up the morning here on AM Tampa Bay, and I am excited. One, I want to get to the weekend because I got Gasparilla Music Festival that I'm going to be at. And two, because we're going to end the show on the perfect note, the Camille Trust note, who joins us now with her acoustic guitarist, Peter Mangaya. Thank you for coming in today. First, Camille, I want to talk to you a little bit.
Yes.
Is this your first Gasparilla Music Festival?
This is my first.
Oh,
yes.
Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in Lutz, Florida.
Oh, great.
From Lutz, or
local
Lutz, as they call it when you first move here.
Oh, yeah, only people who don't get it call it Lutz. That's when you know they're rookies.
I can't wait for this to start tomorrow. Now, when are you going to be performing?
I'll be performing tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow evening, yes.
Tomorrow night, do you know which stage you're going to be at? Because I'll probably stop by. I'll check it out later. But you can check it out for yourself, Gasparilla'Music.com. And Camille, you got a little song for us today?
I do. This is a song called Florida.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
You can find it on all streaming platforms.
Camille Truss with Florida, and you can hear Camille and see her tomorrow at the Gasparilla Music Festival. Take it away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hate it when you call me beautiful, 'cause that kind of language is working on me. Love seems so foolish, so pity the fool. I'm here, you're there. Now I feel cold in the air. Lately it's making me crazy. I'm spinning around and again, and it's not me, but I've seen the reason for setting aside all my ego for you. Nothing but you. Take me back to Florida. Take me back to Florida.
Woo. Camille Truss, you can see her
I
tomorrow.
have not heard that song before. Where did that song come from?
I wrote it.
You wrote it?
I wrote it,
That's
baby.
a Florida song. There aren't enough Florida songs, you
That's
know.
what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, that was great. And Peter
That was a great
Mongaya
one.
on acoustic. You can see that tomorrow. Camille, just fantastic. Your
Thank
voice,
you.
incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, and from Lutz, no less.
Well,
Yeah,
Lutz.
Lutz. Hey.
No, I got it right, but when I first came here, along with everybody else, we called it Lutz until we learned, no, it's Lutz.
Yep.
It's one thing to have a great voice, but the soul, like you can just feel. That's exactly. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the free dive from Coppertail in my hand,
Yes.
and I'll be watching this all weekend long.
Yeah, Coppertail Brewing Company is presenting the Gasparilla Music Festival going on this weekend.
And Camille, thank you so much. And
Thank
Peter,
you.
thank you. I want to bring Brett Morgan on the board of directors at GMF, Gasparilla Music Festival. I'm so happy this is back. I was so
finally here.
This was the COVID was it canceled a lot of things. And my favorite thing, Gasparilla Music Festival every year, that was one of the things that was pushed back. So how strange was it having to deal with that and then reorganizing the festival?
It was, we were like maybe the last live event that kind of got off in 2020, right? So really the COVID, window was crashing down on us that kind of second weekend in March. So, I mean, again, we just kind of had to play it by ear this year, and just to think that it's going to happen here, our 10th year anniversary here in, beautiful October weather. And then we'll turn it around and, we'll do it again next spring, of course. But no, we're thrilled to be back and, have 30 artists across 3 days at Curtis Dixon Park. It's going to be great.
And I love that Coppertail Brewing is presenting because they're my good buddies over there down right by my place in Channelside. They're right out of Ybor City. But here's why I love this festival. And Jack, I've talked about this before. You can have someone like Camille who you have that soul and just a beautiful voice, great music. And then you have a guy like Nas who is just this, this rap star.
Behemoth.
Yeah, so it's just, I love how you have that different feel and you can get different types and genres of music depending on what stage and what time you're there.
Yeah, I mean, we're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit, right? So we do a lot for music education in the Tampa Bay area. We do a lot to get local artists paid gigs. So at the end of the day, you're right. It's that mix of national, stage artists like Sophie Tucker on Friday, Government Mule Sunday, Sylvan Esso going into Nas on Saturday, and then all the great local music you can hear across 3 days. It's going to be awesome.
Let's go. Let's go.
Tampa sports radio listeners know 95.3 DAE's Aaron Jacobson as the energetic, knowledgeable sports jock.
Any innings for Anderson is actually good.
Other listeners know him from somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I got a comedy act first. He was doing a comedy show.
Long before his 12 to 3 sports show, Aaron is firing up a different mic.
It's 8:06 on AM Tampa Bay with Jack Harris and Katie Vicino. I'm Aaron Jacobson.
Every weekday, Aaron's up no later than 4 a.m., ready to co-host from 5 to 9 on AM Tampa Bay. To say it's a challenge would be an understatement.
So how's your brain right now?
I'm good. Like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I'm good. 10 o'clock, you start to see a little bit of the downward slide. And then by 12 o'clock, I've had a couple more cups of coffee. I'm good to go.
Coffee is indeed Aaron's best friend, but so too are hard work and dedication needed to juggle both jobs.
There's just so many strange elements to this story.
Jacobson, who's 31's been at it for 10 years. More than enough time to impress that of Tampa radio icon Jack Harris, who's been in the business for 50 years.
You do 4 hours, and I'm out of here at 9 and through for the day. And he has to come back in and do another 3-hour show, for which it requires preparation as well.
The morning show consists of news, interviews, and listener calls.
From Jack to Jack. Good morning, Jack.
Before he knows it, Aaron's done with the morning show.
All right.
After a quick conversation with one of his colleagues, Aaron then makes his way through the studio door, across the hallway, and through another door.
Where the day continues.
Time for Aaron to record those station promos.
Hey, Bucks fans, join me, Aaron Jacobson, in 95.3 WDAE this Sunday at the...
Aaron considers this part of the day crunch time to get all of his ads done.
I really have an hour window that any commercials, any other work I have to do for AM Tampa Bay or cutting audio, now's the time to do it.
After meticulously cutting ads, Aaron then packs up and is ready to leave. He has to make his way down the hallway, saying goodbye to the morning job on AM Tampa Bay and saying hello to his afternoon gig inside the 95.3 DAE studios, where he quickly gets acclimated for his afternoon show.
The transition is on. We go from news, where we're serious, and then we come and we lighten it up.
Aaron checks off his to-do list, but still has one thing left on it. Aaron gets in his car, fires up the engine, and makes his way to the land of Dunkin'.
1 medium caramel iced macchiato.
It's a quick pick-me-up courtesy of an iced coffee. Then Aaron makes his way back to the iHeartRadio studio and begins his prep work before hitting the airwaves for the second time.
I feel like if I didn't have the morning show, I might be more inclined to just kind of like procrastinate a little bit, maybe not prep until closer to the show time.
Co-host Pat Donovan arrives, and it's time for the show.
Welcome to the Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE.
The two are a perfect odd couple, with Donovan being more spontaneous.
It keeps me in line. You know, our differences a lot of times is what makes us work together, I think.
Aaron puts everything he has into his final 3 hours on air.
You still go 6 innings. Yeah. Like any other pitcher in the Rays rotation is going 3 innings there.
3 p.m. quickly comes, and it's time for Aaron to sign off.
That's it for us, Goons. Have a good rest of the day. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. All right. That's a wrap.